Most of us think of eggs as the gold standard for protein, the perfect food, nature's little nutrient capsule. But what if I told you that there are 3 tiny seeds that not only rival eggs in protein content, they actually beat them? I'm talking about nature's hidden muscle builders, seeds that don't come from a chicken, but from plants that have been quietly powering civilizations for thousands of years. And now modern science is catching up. These 3 seeds don't just help you meet your protein goals. They protect you from one of aging's most silent and devastating conditions. Sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass and strength. It's not about vanity, it's about vitality, independence, and longevity. So today we're going to dive into what these seeds are, why their amino acid profiles matter, and how they can be your frontline defense against muscle loss, inflammation, and metabolic decline. Because when it comes to aging well, it's not about eating more, it's about eating right. Let's start with the sacred cow, or should I say sacred chicken of nutrition, the egg. For decades we've been told that eggs are the perfect protein source. They contain all the essential amino acids. They're cheap, convenient, and they've even been used as the reference point against which all other proteins are measured. The biological value of protein, how efficiently our bodies can use it, was literally based on the egg. But here's the truth. The science has evolved, and so should our understanding of what perfect protein really means. Now, I'm not here to demonize eggs. I eat them. They're nutritious. But when we start to examine the density of nutrients, not just the presence of them, something remarkable emerges. Tiny, humble, unassuming seeds, specifically hemp, chia, and pumpkin seeds, deliver more usable protein per calorie than eggs, and they come with a constellation of other benefits that eggs simply can't match. Let's look at the numbers. One large egg gives you about 6 grams of protein and 70 calories. Not bad. But 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds? That's roughly 7 grams of protein in just over 100 calories. A serving of pumpkin seeds? Around 8 grams. Chia seeds? Nearly 5 grams in a single ounce. And remember, these aren't isolated protein powders. They're whole, unprocessed foods loaded with fiber, micronutrients, and healthy fats that slow digestion and keep blood sugar stable. But here's where it gets fascinating. The protein in these seeds is not just abundant, it's bioavailable. Hemp seeds, for instance, contain edestin and albumin, 2 highly digestible proteins structurally similar to those found in the human body. That means your muscles, your enzymes, your immune cells, all the protein-dependent machinery of life can use it efficiently. And while it's true that some plant proteins fall short on certain amino acids, these 3 seeds form a kind of nutritional trinity. Together they cover all 9 essential amino acids, giving you a complete protein profile without any animal input. And here's the kicker. These seeds don't come with cholesterol, they don't contain oxidized fats, and they don't generate the same inflammatory byproducts associated with cooking animal protein at high temperatures. That means you're not just building muscle, you're protecting it from inflammatory damage in the process. We live in a world where protein marketing has gone off the rails. Every processed food now screams high protein on the label. But the truth is, not all protein is created equal. What matters is quality, context, and synergy. The amino acids in these seeds are paired with fiber that feeds your gut microbiome, which in turn produces short-chain fatty acids, compounds that lower inflammation and improve insulin sensitivity. Eggs can't do that. And when we talk about protein density, we can't ignore the big picture, the metabolic load of what we eat. Animal proteins, including eggs, are metabolically costly. They deliver protein, yes, but also methionine and branched-chain amino acids in proportions that, when consumed in excess, can activate mTOR, an anabolic pathway that, while essential for growth, also accelerates aging when overstimulated. The protein in seeds, on the other hand, tends to modulate mTOR rather than blast it into overdrive. In other words, plant-based proteins support growth and longevity. Another overlooked advantage, micronutrient synergy. Seeds don't just give you protein, they give you magnesium, zinc, and iron, all cofactors in muscle synthesis and repair. Without these, protein can't do its job efficiently. Think of it like this. Eggs might give you the building blocks, but seeds give you both the blocks and the tools to assemble them. Now, I can almost hear the skeptics, come on, how can a tiny seed outperform an egg? Well, biology doesn't care about marketing. The numbers speak for themselves. Seeds evolved to protect and nurture new life. They're concentrated packages of nutrition designed to grow an entire plant. So of course they're dense in protein, antioxidants, and energy. Nature didn't design them for us. She designed them for survival. We just happen to benefit. And if you're worried about digestibility, remember that modern preparation methods, soaking, sprouting, blending, make these proteins even more accessible. When you soak chia or hemp seeds, you're not just improving texture, you're activating enzymes that enhance amino acid availability and reduce anti-nutrients. It's like turning the volume up on their nutritional potential. So yes, eggs are good, but these three seeds, they're exceptional. They deliver complete anti-inflammatory, muscle-supporting protein with fewer calories, more nutrients, and zero baggage. For someone fighting sarcopenia, the slow erosion of muscle that accompanies aging, these seeds are not just food, they're medicine. The next time you reach for an egg, maybe add a spoonful of hemp, chia, or pumpkin seeds to your breakfast. Tiny, yes, but mighty enough to rebuild your strength, restore your muscle, and redefine what perfect protein really means. For years, one of the loudest arguments against plant-based eating has been that plant proteins are incomplete. You've probably heard it. You need meat to get all your essential amino acids. It's a convenient narrative, especially for the food industry that profits from our dependence on animal products. But here's the problem, it's outdated. The science no longer supports it. In fact, several humble seeds, hemp, chia, and pumpkin among them, completely overturn that old myth. These aren't your average plant foods. They contain complete amino acid profiles that rival and in some cases surpass the quality of animal protein. Let's take a moment to break this down. Proteins are made up of amino acids. Think of them as Lego blocks for life. Out of the 20 amino acids your body uses, 9 are essential, meaning you must get them from food. If one is missing, your body can't complete the structure, whether that's a muscle fiber, an enzyme, or a neurotransmitter. That's why balance matters. Now, most plant proteins tend to be limited in 1 or 2 essential amino acids. Beans are low in methionine, grains lack lysine, and so on. That's true. But these seeds, they're the exceptions that rewrite the rule. Hemp seeds contain all 9 essential amino acids in balanced proportions, with a particularly high concentration of arginine, which supports vascular health and nitric oxide production, critical for muscle function. Chia seeds, though modest in appearance, deliver a full amino acid profile along with omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation and aid in recovery. Pumpkin seeds, or pepitas, contribute high levels of tryptophan and glutamate, which play vital roles in mood regulation and muscle repair. So when you combine these 3 seeds, hemp, chia, and pumpkin, you're not just getting complete protein, you're getting synergistic protein. Their amino acid strengths complement each other perfectly. One seed fills in where another leaves off, creating an amino acid balance that rivals that of an egg or a piece of fish. And because they come packaged with fiber, healthy fats, and antioxidants, they don't carry the metabolic baggage of animal proteins. No cholesterol, no inflammatory saturated fats, and no advanced glycation end products that come from high temperature cooking. Here's where this becomes more than a nutrition trivia fact. As we age, our ability to synthesize muscle protein declines, a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. To fight sarcopenia, we need protein sources that are both abundant in essential amino acids and efficiently utilized by the body. These seeds deliver precisely that. The leucine content in hemp and pumpkin seeds, for example, directly stimulates the M2R pathway, the molecular switch for muscle growth without tipping it into chronic overactivation. You get the benefits of muscle synthesis without the accelerated aging that excessive animal protein can trigger. And don't underestimate the supporting cast. Magnesium, zinc, and manganese in these seeds are cofactors for enzymes that govern protein synthesis and energy metabolism. In other words, they don't just supply the bricks, they also supply the construction crew. Compare that to an isolated animal protein source where you might get the bricks but not the builders. But perhaps the most compelling aspect of plant-based complete proteins lies in what isn't in them. They don't spike insulin levels. They don't provoke inflammation. They don't overload your liver with excess methionine, which can elevate homocysteine levels, a risk factor for cardiovascular disease. They nourish your microbiome instead through their fiber and polyphenols, which feed beneficial gut bacteria. Those bacteria in turn produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which help regulate metabolism, reduce inflammation, and even improve muscle function. This is what I call metabolic harmony, the body's systems working together rather than against each other. Let's be clear, getting enough high-quality protein isn't just about vanity or fitness. It's about maintaining independence, function, and resilience as we age. Sarcopenia doesn't just make you weaker, it makes you metabolically vulnerable. Less muscle means less glucose disposal, less stability, and a higher risk of falls, fractures, and frailty. Every meal is a vote for or against that outcome. Choosing these complete seed proteins is choosing to age with strength and grace. And if you're still worried about digestibility, don't be. Modern preparation methods, soaking, sprouting, blending, unlock these amino acids beautifully. In fact, soaking chia and hemp seeds activates enzymes that make their proteins even more bioavailable. When your digestion works with your food, not against it, absorption improves dramatically. Think about the elegance of this: 3 small seeds, each less than the size of a fingernail, carrying the blueprint for muscle repair, hormonal balance, and metabolic stability. It's nature's quiet perfection. These aren't the high-tech, lab-engineered protein solutions you see on supermarket shelves. They're ancient foods, perfectly designed by evolution, waiting for us to rediscover them. So when someone tells you that you need animal protein to build or maintain muscle, remember this: your body doesn't care where the amino acids come from. It cares about getting all of them in the right balance with the right metabolic context. And in that regard, hemp, chia, and pumpkin seeds stand tall. They are not incomplete, they are not secondary, they are complete nutrition ready to fuel a strong, resilient, and metabolically healthy life. Inflammation, it's the silent thief of health. It sneaks in quietly, slowly eroding your vitality, your energy, and eventually your muscle mass. You don't feel it at first. There's no pain, no warning light on your dashboard. But inside your cells, a fire is smoldering. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is one of the root causes of almost every modern disease: diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's, and yes, sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle. And here's the good news: you can fight it, not with pills, not with fancy supplements, but with food. Specifically, with 3 tiny seeds that nature designed as anti-inflammatory powerhouses: hemp, chia, and pumpkin. You see, when we talk about building muscle, most people focus on protein. But protein alone isn't enough. You can't build muscle in a toxic environment. If your body is inflamed, your muscle cells become resistant to growth signals. It's like trying to build a house during a storm. The materials are there, but the conditions are wrong. Chronic inflammation interferes with the anabolic processes that help you maintain muscle and strength. That's why these seeds are so special. They don't just feed your muscles, they protect them. Take hemp seeds, for example. They're loaded with gamma-linolenic acid, GLA, a rare omega-6 fatty acid that behaves differently from the inflammatory omega-6s you find in processed oils. GLA actually reduces inflammation by supporting the production of anti-inflammatory prostaglandins, molecules that help your body regulate immune responses and tissue repair. Most people's diets are overloaded with the bad kind of omega-6s, the ones that stoke inflammation. Hemp seeds help bring that system back into balance. Then there's chia seeds, one of the richest plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a type of omega-3 fatty acid. Omega-3s are your body's natural fire extinguishers. They dampen the inflammatory cascade at its source, lowering levels of C-reactive protein, CRP, and interleukin-6, both biomarkers of systemic inflammation. But ALA does more than that. It supports the integrity of cell membranes, helping muscles communicate better and recover faster after stress or exercise. When your muscle cells are well nourished and inflammation is kept in check, the machinery of repair runs smoothly. And don't underestimate the power of pumpkin seeds. Beyond their impressive protein content, they're packed with magnesium and zinc, minerals that play crucial roles in controlling inflammation. Magnesium helps modulate the immune system, preventing it from becoming overactive. Zinc, on the other hand, is essential for tissue regeneration and antioxidant enzyme function. When you're low in zinc, inflammation tends to spiral out of control, and your ability to recover declines. Pumpkin seeds restore that equilibrium naturally. But here's where these seeds really shine. They don't work in isolation. They form an anti-inflammatory network. The omega-3s from chia, the GLA from hemp, and the minerals from pumpkin seeds work together to calm the immune system, neutralize free radicals, and protect your mitochondria, the tiny energy factories in your cells. Why does that matter? Because when mitochondria are inflamed, they malfunction. They produce less energy and more oxidative stress, accelerating muscle breakdown and aging. By reducing inflammation, you're not just protecting your muscles, you're preserving your energy, your metabolism, your very ability to thrive. And let's not forget another key factor, gut health. Chronic inflammation often begins in the gut, where processed foods and low-fiber diets disrupt the microbiome. Chia and hemp seeds are rich in soluble and insoluble fibers that nourish beneficial gut bacteria. When your gut microbes are healthy, they produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which have potent anti-inflammatory effects throughout the body. In essence, these seeds create an internal feedback loop. Better gut health means less inflammation, which means better muscle retention, which means healthier aging. Contrast that with the modern Western diet, high in refined carbs, seed oils, and animal proteins cooked at high temperatures. That diet generates advanced glycation end products, AGEs, and oxidized fats, chemical compounds that drive inflammation at the cellular level. The body can't build strength on that foundation, but swap in a handful of these seeds daily and you begin to change your body's chemistry. The balance of eicosanoids, signaling molecules derived from fats, starts to shift from pro-inflammatory to anti-inflammatory. That's real biochemical change, not marketing hype. And there's another piece to this puzzle. Inflammation doesn't just degrade muscle, it also impairs insulin sensitivity. When your cells become resistant to insulin, nutrients can't enter muscle tissue efficiently, and your body starts storing excess energy as fat. The anti-inflammatory compounds in these seeds restore insulin sensitivity, allowing amino acids and glucose to flow back into muscle cells where they belong. It's a metabolic reset, one driven entirely by food. So yes, these seeds provide protein, but their true magic lies in their ability to create a healing environment, one where your cells can build, repair, and regenerate. They turn down the volume on inflammation, allowing the symphony of metabolism to play in harmony again. That's not hype, that's biochemistry. In a world addicted to shortcuts, these simple seeds are a reminder that nature has already written the best prescription. When you eat hemp, chia, and pumpkin seeds regularly, you're not just feeding your muscles, you're extinguishing the fires that destroy them. And in doing so, you're reclaiming the most powerful medicine we have, food that heals, protects, and restores balance from the inside out. Metabolism is not just about burning calories. That's the myth that's been sold to us for decades. The idea that your metabolism is a furnace and food is just fuel. But that's not how biology works. Metabolism is a symphony of hormones, enzymes, and cellular communication, all working in harmony to keep you alive and functioning. When that system breaks down, everything else follows: energy, mood, focus, and yes, muscle mass. That's where our three heroes, hemp, chia, and pumpkin seeds, step in. These tiny foods don't just feed you, they balance you. They bring order back to the hormonal chaos that modern diets have unleashed. Let's start with the hormone most people know by name, but few truly understand: insulin. Insulin is not the enemy, it's the messenger that tells your cells when to absorb nutrients. The problem is, in today's world, insulin is working overtime. Processed carbohydrates, sugar-laden drinks, and ultra-processed foods keep your insulin levels constantly elevated. Over time, your cells stop listening. That's insulin resistance. And when that happens, energy gets trapped in your bloodstream as fat storage increases and muscle tissue starves. You can't build or preserve muscle in that state. Enter these seeds. Hemp, chia, and pumpkin are loaded with fiber, healthy fats, and slow-digesting proteins that stabilize blood sugar and reduce insulin spikes. The soluble fiber in chia forms a gel in your digestive tract, slowing glucose absorption and flattening the blood sugar curve. The magnesium in pumpkin seeds enhances insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. It's like oiling the gears of your metabolic machinery. And hemp's perfect balance of omega-3 to omega-6 fats reduces inflammation in the insulin signaling pathway, allowing the message to get through again. When insulin works properly, nutrients flow efficiently into muscle cells instead of being locked away in fat cells. That's metabolic health in action. Now let's talk about cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol is designed for survival. It raises blood sugar so your body can respond to danger. But chronic stress, whether emotional or physical, keeps cortisol high day after day. Elevated cortisol does two things you don't want. It breaks down muscle tissue for quick energy, and it tells your body to store fat, particularly around the abdomen. It's the perfect storm for sarcopenia and metabolic dysfunction. The good news? These seeds help regulate cortisol naturally. Magnesium from pumpkin seeds and zinc from hemp play direct roles in cortisol regulation by supporting adrenal health. When your body is replenished with these minerals, it interprets the world as safe. It doesn't need to stay in fight or flight mode. Add in the omega-3 ceph from chia, which lower inflammatory cytokines that feed the stress response, and you've got a nutritional antidote to chronic stress. Less cortisol means less muscle breakdown, better sleep, and improved recovery, all critical for maintaining strength as you age. And then there's testosterone, not just for men, but for everyone. Testosterone drives muscle growth, motivation, and metabolic vigor. Yet modern diets, sedentary lifestyles, and endocrine-disrupting chemicals have conspired to drag testosterone levels lower than ever before. What's fascinating is that the nutrients in these seeds directly support the body's natural testosterone production. Zinc, again, is a cornerstone here. It's required for the synthesis of testosterone and for maintaining healthy levels of luteinizing hormone, which signals the testes or ovaries to produce it. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest natural sources of zinc you can eat. Couple that with the healthy fats in hemp and chia, which are essential precursors for hormone synthesis, and you have a dietary foundation for balanced hormonal function. And let's not forget thyroid hormones, the true conductors of metabolism. Without enough iodine, selenium, and magnesium, your thyroid can't do its job efficiently. While these seeds aren't major sources of iodine. They deliver the magnesium and zinc your thyroid depends on. A nourished thyroid translates to better energy, improved fat metabolism, and stronger, more resilient muscles. But hormonal balance isn't just about individual glands. It's about communication between systems. The gut, liver, and brain all play critical roles in regulating your hormonal network. The fiber and polyphenols in chia and hemp seeds feed your gut microbiome, producing short-chain fatty acids that reduce inflammation and improve insulin sensitivity. The healthy fats support liver detoxification, which is essential for clearing out excess hormones and maintaining equilibrium. The end result? A body that communicates clearly, responds efficiently, and performs optimally. When hormones are in balance, your metabolism hums, your muscles grow instead of wasting away, your energy remains steady, your cravings diminish, you sleep deeper, recover faster, and think more clearly. That's not wishful thinking, that's the biology of homeostasis restored. Now imagine the opposite, a diet high in refined grains, processed oils, and sugar. It's not just empty calories, it's hormonal sabotage. It drives insulin resistance, raises cortisol, lowers testosterone, and sets off a cascade that accelerates muscle loss and fat gain. The food you eat literally dictates how your hormones behave. These seeds, simple, affordable, and ancient, can flip that switch back in your favor. So no, hemp, chia, and pumpkin seeds are not magic bullets. They're something better, foundational foods. They provide the raw materials your endocrine and metabolic systems need to function as nature intended. They quiet the chaos, restore balance, and make muscle maintenance and fat metabolism possible again. And in the process, they don't just support hormonal health, they redefine it, reminding us that true metabolic strength begins not with calories or macros, but with the quiet, powerful chemistry of real food. One of the greatest myths in nutrition is that eating healthy is complicated, that it requires exotic ingredients, expensive supplements, or hours in the kitchen. But real nourishment has always been simple. The healthiest foods in the world are not engineered in laboratories. They're grown in soil, and few foods embody that truth better than hemp, chia, and pumpkin seeds. These seeds are not fads. They're ancient staples that fueled civilizations long before the first protein shake was ever invented. The beauty of them lies not only in their nutrient power, but in their simplicity. They fit into any diet, any culture, any lifestyle effortlessly. Let's start with the obvious convenience. Most people today live in a state of nutritional triage, grabbing what's fast, not what's good. We've been conditioned to think that healthy eating means sacrifice, but these seeds defy that narrative. You don't have to cook them, prep them, or even refrigerate them. A handful of pumpkin seeds, a spoonful of hemp, or a sprinkle of chia can transform almost any meal into something deeply nourishing. They're portable, shelf-stable, and versatile. In a world of processed chaos, they're a rare form of simplicity. Take your breakfast, for instance. Most people start their day with refined carbohydrates, cereal, toast, bagels, and then wonder why they crash by mid-morning. Add a tablespoon of chia or hemp seeds to your oatmeal or yogurt, and suddenly you've turned a blood sugar bomb into a balanced, nutrient-dense meal. The protein stabilizes glucose levels, the healthy fats keep you full, and the fiber feeds your gut. It's a small change with a massive metabolic ripple effect. The same applies to lunch. Sprinkle hemp or pumpkin seeds on a salad, and you've not only added texture, you've added a complete amino acid profile and essential minerals like magnesium and zinc. They act as nutritional amplifiers. You don't need to overhaul your diet, you just need to upgrade it. Even if your lunch isn't perfect, these seeds help tip the scales toward balance. They make ordinary meals smarter. Chia seeds in particular are a nutritional secret weapon. When soaked, they expand into a gel that can replace eggs in baking or thicken smoothies and puddings. They're the perfect plant-based binder for those avoiding eggs or dairy. and they deliver omega-3s and fiber in every spoonful. You can throw them into soups, blend them into drinks, or even use them to make a healthy dessert. They're the ultimate stealth nutrient, invisible in taste, yet profound in effect. Hemp seeds, with their mild, nutty flavor, pair beautifully with almost anything. Sprinkle them on avocado toast, mix them into pancake batter, or blend them into smoothies. They provide creaminess without the need for dairy, and their fat composition, a near-perfect balance of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, supports heart and brain health. And because they're so light and digestible, they don't weigh you down like animal proteins can. They're fuel without the fatigue. Pumpkin seeds, meanwhile, add crunch and richness to both savory and sweet dishes. Toast them and toss them over soups. Use them in granola or grind them into a pesto with olive oil and herbs. Their deep, earthy flavor brings complexity to food while delivering iron, zinc, and magnesium, nutrients that most people are deficient in. They're proof that good nutrition doesn't have to be bland or boring. But here's the deeper point. Incorporating these seeds into your diet isn't just about convenience, it's about consistency. Nutrition doesn't work in isolated moments. It works through daily patterns, through the choices we make again and again. These seeds are easy to use, which means you'll actually use them, and that's the real secret to lasting change. Not radical transformation, but sustainable habits. They also transcend dietary tribes. Whether you're vegan, paleo, keto, or omnivore, these seeds fit right in. For vegans, they provide complete proteins and healthy fats that can be difficult to obtain from plants alone. For those on low-carb or ketogenic diets, they offer fiber and micronutrients without spiking blood sugar. Even for those who eat animal products, adding these seeds diversifies your nutrient intake and reduces inflammation. They're not divisive foods, they're unifying ones. And in a world where food allergies and intolerances are on the rise, that flexibility matters. These seeds are naturally gluten-free, dairy-free, and hypoallergenic for most people. They democratize nutrition, no fancy supplements.